Everybody, today we are joined by Lori MacVittie, one of our principal technology evangelists with F5. And Lori is one of the authors for an upcoming book that's to be released called Enterprise Architecture for Digital Business, Transforming IT. Looking forward to this coming out pretty soon here, Lori, but you were one of the contributing authors?
Yes, one of many. Most of the leaders in the office of the CTO were involved in writing this book, each one focusing on their specific area of expertise, as you will.
So, with the release of this book, we actually have a preview that's going to be available for everybody. And we've got 4 chapters available for folks. So, maybe we can spend a little bit of time actually talking about the first couple chapters that are going to be released that people can look forward to previewing.
Absolutely. I'm very excited about that. And they are raw and unedited. So
Wow.
you're going to find typos. Don't tell me. We'll find them. The chapters that are available are right, the introduction. So why is this necessary? What are we even talking about? What's an enterprise architecture? These are things that exist that you need to set a common understanding of. And then we move into that first chapter. What does it mean to modernize an enterprise architecture? These were developed in the 1980s and standardized over time before the internet and IoT and edge and mobile and cloud. So what does it mean to modernize your enterprise architecture so that you can adapt to change as quickly as you need to operate as a digital business? So the first few chapters are really setting that stage and then dipping your toes into infrastructure, edge, cloud, even down to DPUs, GPUs, NPUs, and IPUs, right? The XPUs, and a little bit of hardware. And it's a fascinating read about the infrastructure renaissance that's going on in this revival of interest in infrastructure in terms of hardware. Right? Moore's law is dead, so we're turning to all these different cards to gain those performance efficiencies and speed that we need. So it's a very in-depth topic, and it's very interesting, and it's very relevant if you're going to go modernizing your entire infrastructure in order to support a digital business.
So on that, when you speak about modernizing architecture, are you talking about holistic architecture? Like you're mentioning not just the applications, but you're talking all the way down to the brass tacks of chips on boards?
Well, we're talking about, you start at the top, right? An enterprise architecture is really about capabilities, about business functions, processes that need to be expressed as technology, whether in applications or infrastructure or in data. Right. So it's an overarching holistic view of the business is represented by technology and how that technology supports it. And when you get into different domains like infrastructure, you have to get down to, how is the hardware being used and accessible, and what functions does it support in a digital business? So you have to get down to those levels in order to talk about really how do you modernize what's already there.
So the audience for this type of book, then, are we looking at like CIO, CISO type levels to give them a broad understanding of what they should be looking out for in the next few years?
Yes, C-level, technology leaders, architects, IT architects will find much of this very interesting because it speaks to problems and challenges that they face as they're trying to build out that architecture, decide what fits where and where all those Lego pieces go.
And then the next couple chapters in the book, we've got marathon to messaging and data is the new oil.
Well, yes. So marathon to messaging, that's my chapter, and it's on app delivery. And I love it. It's the best chapter, of course, because I wrote it. I have to say that. Everyone loves their own. It's really about app delivery and how it kind of mirrors communication in the real world, and how the way that we've done it in the past is not necessarily the best way to do it, and how it's evolved. So it's, it takes that kind of, here's where we are and how app delivery has to change to support a digital business. Data is the new oil. Everyone says that. It's cliche, but it's still true. And the focus is really on operational data. So the telemetry and how that has to be incorporated, how it's different from traditional customer data or product data, and how it needs to be handled, processed, analyzed, and then used in order to create that 360-degree feedback loop, right? That's driving automation. So it's a really good chapter, and it's really broad because there's so much to talk about when you start looking at data.
Why is telemetry so critical now? I mean, it's always been important to have visibility, but why has it seemed to climb the ladder in criticality?
Well, that would take a book. Oh, wait, we have one. Oh, it's really, well, first we distribute it, right? So we distribute it across cloud, multiple clouds, as a service, core, then we send people home. Now we have data and information all over. So we have all of these different places that we need to understand what's going on. What is the performance like? What is the security? What is happening, right? And there's data out there. And we haven't really had to rely on it that much in real time before, because the scale and reach of our applications was not as robust and pervasive as it is today, right? COVID really accelerated a lot of this digital as default approach to the world. And if you're going to be digital and rely on digital services, you have to know how they're performing, whether they're secure, where they are. And that requires data. And so all that operational data is giving you all of the signals you need to know to understand about the health of your digital business. It's like you've got a lot of data that's generated every second, like 11 million bits per second, you generate information. And you don't monitor all of those until, right, you need to in order to find out what's my overall health. Well, a digital business needs to monitor that 24/7 to understand, because we're distributed, we're bigger, and it's more important to the business now.
I think a lot of people will be looking forward to checking out this book. I think it covers a lot of topics that need to be addressed for the future of IT going forward. So if you're watching this now, wherever you're watching this from, there's going to be links to download these preview chapters of this book and to get a heads up on when the complete book comes out. Thank you, Lori, for joining us, and we will catch everybody on the next one.
Thanks.